obstacle for a lot of people. If they can find time after getting home from work or spending time with their family, if they can find time or make time to work out, or if they can find ways to invest in themselves financially by purchasing the programs and stuff, obviously then these people are going to be good quality coaches as well. So what I do next, and I'm kind of taking up this whole thing, but what I do next is I personally reach out to them. So I'm a big believer, and I think that this is where a lot of people make a lot of mistakes in the business. I don't feel that you should ever try to explain the business to someone through a message. That is the worst thing that you can do. And why? Because that is about as less personal as it comes for something that is so life-changing, or that can be so life-changing. So from day one, what I've done is I reach out to the person through a message or through email, and I'll say, hey, listen, I've been watching you. You've been, working your ass off. You're super dedicated. I know you already have people coming to you for help. You've shown leadership, and I look for those type of people to bring on as coaches on my team. So I'd like to get on a call with you. And here's how I say it. I say I have tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. Central Time open. If that doesn't work for you, how about let's do 1 p.m. Or if that doesn't work, you name a time tomorrow when we can talk. I don't ever leave it up to them. I don't say, hey, can we talk, or do you think this would be a good talk? No, it's to the point. All right, let's set something up. Let's talk tomorrow. I want to explain this to you. So then I get on the phone, and normally it's about a 10 to 15 minute call. It's not very long. Sometimes it goes a little over that, just depending on how much we get into each other's stories. I ask about their why. Why would they be interested in coaching, or and then I talk about a little bit about my story and the things that I've gone through and why I invited them to be a coach. And then basically at the end of the call, I ask them, what questions do you have about the business? Because I'm sure, you don't understand. Normally there's a few basic questions. The first one is, well, what do you do as a coach? And I just explained to him, guys, it's exactly what you see me doing, right? I mentor people. I help them. I'm guiding them. I recommend products that I've used that have worked. And I'm supporting you guys in the group, right? And you're going to be coming on, and you're going to be doing the exact same thing with other people. But at the same time, I mentor people in the business as well. I bring on people like you, and I do a one-on-one personal mentorship and make sure that you guys are supported and guided just like I did with you on the fitness journey, but this time with the business. So that's – is she on now? So that's been my process. And then at the end of the call, I ask them, if they have any more questions. And normally the other question they ask is, well, how do you earn? I very, very simply break it down. I think another big mistake that you can make is that you go into too much detail about the compensation plan. Keep it simple. Talk about how you earn the commission.
Much, right? I made it too hard.
She's here. Yeah. So I'm gonna pause because Isabel's on. Hi, Isabel. So
thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry about the mix-up, Isabel, with the link. We had a little bit of we had the link out to two different things, so we apologize about that.
So good. We got still 43 minutes, so let's hit it.
There we go. Yeah, we'll go quick. We're just here on a little snowboarding retreat in Big Sky, Montana.
I know you guys look so I could tell it's vacation time.
Yeah, we were on the hills all day. Got Josh and Jennifer here and the rest of the crew.
Wow.
So. Anyhow, I'll announce Isabel real quick, and then so you guys can know a little bit about her, and then we're just going to give it to her. So,
are we talking to mostly coaches or new people? What's the deal?
Mostly coaches on this call.
Oh, cool.
So Isabel is the co-creator of Shakeology. She's very knowledgeable in everything that she has done. She holds 2 Bachelors of Science degrees. She's distinguished as an Achievement Award winner from the International Sports Sciences Association. She's one of 11 out of 15,000 certified trainers that have received this award. So her certifications read like a best of the best list. So
that was pre-pregnancy and being a mother. So now I got certification of mama.
And that's the best
certification, which are much harder to get.
That is the hardest one out there. So she did all of that and a mother, just like many of you guys on here. So Isabel, I don't want to take any more time. We're going to pass it over to you. You have.
Well, I'll pass it over to you. You've got questions for me.
I do have questions. We'll go through them. I have them here for you.
Oh, good.
Okay, so the first question is, when someone gets super bad cramps almost right away, even with a half serving of Shakeology, what is happening? Is that a type of intolerance or is it an allergic reaction?
That is such an interesting question. Guys, you've got to know when it comes with the myriad of reactions that the body has, myriads of reasons, each individual whom I do not know all the things they don't tell us, all the things they do tell us, which is different than the realistic story of what's going on with their bodies and their health. There's no way I can answer those questions, any of them, on a unique one-to-one basis. I cannot know. Now, I can say that we have had some bloating reactions, which usually comes with the fact that suddenly there's a lot of nutrients, especially fiber, in the system. We now know that most people don't even have a third of the amount of fiber that they should have in their diets. So as soon as that they introduce something like that, there's a certain reaction. It usually takes a week. You start with half a scoop or a third of scoop, and then you gradually, when the body adjusts, you gradually increase to a full scoop. Now we know that, but what you did 30 years before you ingested the Shakeology, what happened that week? Like, there's so much I don't know about you, the person asking me that question. There is no way I can pretend to know that answer, and I don't want to. So legally, we're not allowed to give personal advice, because unfortunately in our world, if I give you a personal advice and you say you applied it and you got worse, you can sue us. So it has happened. It is unfortunately how it is sometimes. So we have to protect ourselves. But beyond that, it just makes no sense for me to pretend to know what is up with your body, as if I'm totally clued into all of you, like all of your life, to know why that is. So I can't answer that question. You have a doctor, perhaps an MD/naturopath that you can bring the shake to. You can talk about your diet, your emotional state. Do you drink enough water? So many symptoms go away when you ingest a lot of water. We do not hydrate ourselves enough at all. Even now, I remember listening to a documentary where they were saying that even the air itself, there's less humidity. Like, it's so loaded with chemicals that we are constantly dehydrated with the chemicals in the air, and also all the EMF from the phone, the iPad, the computers. We are constantly bombarded. So we need to hydrate like mad. So if you just start really drinking water, even starting with like a big warm glass of water, 8-10 ounces in the morning before you start eating at all, if you start doing that on a regular basis, just with that alone, you will see a change. So the one thing that comes to my mind is lack of hydration, not based on facts, but just from experience, knowing what can happen with just drinking water. I will cheer to that with a sip.
There you go. Thank you. That's one thing. That's one of my goals this year, is to drink more water. I realized I wasn't drinking as much water as I should be. So
it's unbelievable. And I say that, and I am the first one not to do it more often than I dare to realize. It's so easy not to drink. And very often, the less you drink, the less thirsty you are. The more you drink, the more thirsty you are. So it's hard to trust your own body that way until it is trained to regulate itself more efficiently.
yeah.
So yeah, a good goal, actually. Much better than you think, meaning like it seems like a simple goal, but it's a big deal.
The big thing. Yeah. I love that. So I'll just kind of go through these questions, and if it's a question you can answer specifically or in general, just like you did with that one, just let us know. I'm just going to go through them.
Yeah. Even if I can't specifically talk to that, it may lead us to more stuff that are good to discuss.
Perfect. So the next one was how to incorporate our products and which others to add to Shakeology to help older women with menopausal symptoms, since it becomes a whole new ballgame trying to increase energy levels, fight weight gain, and just feel better all around. Is this something that will offer in the future?
Well, wow, that's a great question. And I'll do my best.
Yeah.
First of all, I'm in it. I've been in it for like 2.5 years. I kind of love it. I have these hot flashes. I tingle from head to toe. I get a little lightheaded. For some wacky reason, I kind of get off on it. So I used to be freezing cold my whole life, cold hand, cold feet. My husband wants everything open. We live over a cliff, so the wind goes. It's freezing, like 65 in the room. He loves it, so I have to dress literally as if I'm going outside in order to go to bed because I want him to sleep well. I do like the fresh air, but I'm freezing cold all the time. So since I've been in menopause, I get along with my husband better on all these aspects. It makes me very happy. So I'm like, hey, that's not too bad. But you know, menopause, I'd love to address that because I bet we have a lot of women on this call, right? Mm-hmm. I'd love to address that a little bit on all levels. And are you married?
Yes.
Okay, so you'll have to deal with that. So it's good for you to know.
Yes, I am.
So there's a weird thing happening right now. We're confusing being healthy with never aging. So we do everything under the premise of wanting to be healthy, but really what we want is a product, a shake, an exercise program, a makeup line, an outfit that even though you're 55, you will still look like you're 25. The world is catering that to us. It's selling that to us. It's combining this health with never aging. It's a big thing, very hard to unravel because we are very objectified as women in the world. So it's a tough one. And so I feel like menopause is so vilified right now. It's unbelievable. It's like you're entering the devil's layered menopause. We've had it since we were born on planet Earth. We all seem to make it through, except for very few cases where there's really some challenges, but very often these challenges can be traced back to challenges that the body was not acknowledged for, imbalances that the body was not helped with. And therefore, when the hormones start to really fluctuate and change, all that has not been dealt with is now coming to the surface. You can't get away with it. In a way, it's a blessing in disguise. It's like your last opportunity to actually acknowledge your body and try to bring some osmosis and some well lubricated machine, to sort of finally look at it and say, what is up here? Let me deal with that, which often with our youth and everything we do to sort of not listen to the body because we objectify it. So we're very busy shaping it, sculpting it. It has to look a certain way. You cannot be more than 115 pounds at a certain weight, height, and your BMI be a certain way, and your calories have to be a certain way. And we're very good at objectifying our bodies to look a certain way. We're terrible at listening to the wisdom of our bodies. Subtle, not insignificant, not a big deal, symptoms, little things it does. It's trying to talk to you. And we are not paying attention because we're too busy making sure it looks the way we want it to look, but we don't deal with the health and the mystery and the magic that it is. It performs for us ridiculously well under heavy circumstances that we just are not acknowledging and thanking it for, and therefore paying attention and nurturing it. So we do everything in terms of, I want to be healthy, but it's really, I want to look sexy. And so to me, when you hit menopause, there's a beautiful sort of truth serum that happens, not only physically, but emotionally. There's a lot of stuff that happens with those hormones. So we want to make those hormones very technical. I like to bring spirit back in the hormones. I like to bring a certain spiritual aspect of why all these changes that women go through, they're always very connected with spiritual, emotional changes that women go through, whether it's puberty. And so the ability to choose, to partnership, to change psychologically with who we become and what women want. And then there's the ability to create life. And that brings a whole change in a woman's life. You can see it. It brings physical changes, technical, chemical, hormonal changes, but it also brings a whole human wisdom, spiritual aspect where suddenly something happens, we get protective, we are raising a life, which is a big deal, which could lead me to another, I'm just a mother, pisses me off. There's no better, it should be so respected. Raising a human to then be left loose in society is what creates society. This is what we're dealing with now. The lack of respect and understanding, not just from society, but your own. Not saying you're just a mother should be illegal between us, between women. It's an incredible job and it should be honored. So I think the hormonal change comes into play there, and you change, and there's an evolution to who you are. And I think the same wisdom applies to menopause. So to stop looking at it as, menopause, now my body's going to betray me once again. So not only do we go to doctors all the time to find out my boobs are going to get sick, my pelvic floor is going to get sick, let me look at when it's going to break down. We go looking for disease as opposed to looking for health, because of the immense amount of power and transformation that it goes through that men don't go through the way we do. So it's a heck of a job. And so menopause is not this bad, terrible thing. Does it bring challenges? Of course it does. But it also brings an opportunity to deal and delve in, knowing that now it's the end of giving ourselves to nurturing others, raising, catering to, sort of merging within the whole family. You're nurturing, and suddenly it's an ability to, now this is done, my time of reproduction is done. This is wisdom and emotional well-being and emotional empowerment, and I matter. What else now will I do in my life? Who do I become now that I've done that? So to me, there's a whole thing that the idea that we go after menopause like it's a bad thing creates chemical reaction and fearful reaction and suppression. All we want is to suppress its symptoms and make sure I don't gain 5 pounds, because God knows my happiness resides in never gaining that 5 pounds. What a miserable life. You have to be more than a body that cannot gain 5 pounds. So I'm big on that. It's not very popular how I speak, because there's a zillion books and bestseller and all that showing you how you do not have to age ever, and your body can look like 25 even after menopause. Am I saying that you cannot? Of course not. We've seen it around. That's not my point. My point is you must also learn to stop vilifying the beautiful thing that your body is doing. And so now let's go back to simple technical answers. I had to do my little rant because so many women in menopause age are just not honoring who they are and what's happening. This is an honorable, wonderful, tremendous thing that your body is doing. Once again, please acknowledge it. Please don't suppress it. Please don't act like it's something wrong, some kind of disease you're going to die from. It has its uncomfortableness. We live through uncomfortableness our whole life. When we're young and perfect and pretty and tight, we're miserable because we're so busy looking for other people telling us we're good enough, we're lovable, we need to fit in, we need to be accepted, and it's exhausting. At 50, you can finally say, hey, you know what? I don't really need your approval. You can finally find a way to own yourself. So please don't beat your body up once again. When are we going to let that go? When are we going to just be okay and do what we need to be healthy, but not pretend we have to be 25 for the rest of our lives? Okay, done. So menopause, 3 things that seems to really help: fiber, protein, and water. So those are the same thing that helps us all our entire life. We're just more aware of its consequences as we get older, and as the hormonal shift does some changes that are more drastic and we feel it in a more acute way. So it makes sense to me that the shake helps, because it just brings the fundamental of what we all need, and we need it even more as we get older. Not that we didn't needed it greatly in our youth, but we get away with it, which is almost unfortunate, because we get away, and then we have to catch up. If we never got away with it, we would be on top of it right from the get-go. So menopause, having more protein, a lot more water, making sure you get enough fiber, that alone is going to help you a great deal. Antioxidants, phytonutrients, which is in the shake, is going to help you a great deal. Some people that are vegan may lack iron, calcium, B12. All these things exist in the food that's in the shake. So what I would say is it makes sense to me that a shake will help you. Will I add more or try to create a different balance in the shake in order to cater, meaning Darren and the team, to cater specifically to menopause? No, I don't believe so, because I believe the shake brings the balance, the very balance that you need throughout your day, your weeks, your month, your years. So we are giving you exactly what you need. If you want to add more protein, you add your avocado. You add your sunflower nuts or any kind of nuts that you like. You add your coconut oil. But basically a balanced, dense nutrition, which was the shake is what your diet needs to reflect as well. So if you just do what makes total sense, which is what we try to recreate in the shake, adding these nutrients more consciously in your day, in your weeks, in your months, I think that you will see a difference simply because you are now providing cellular nutrition for your body to do what it knows how to do. It knows, unless it's a drastic case, it knows how to survive menopause. It is actually designed to have menopause. It gets it. You have certain symptoms. I get it, but it's not a disease. So you just need to support it with good, healthy, foundational nutrition. Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay.
That was a great answer. We actually loved your rant. I saw some comments that they really love that mindset that you gave about the way.
I.e., that is not a representation of anybody at Beachbody. I take on full responsibility. That is just me.
Okay, and we like your legal disclaimer.
Yes.
So the next question that goes along with what you were just saying about adding in different nutrients and different vitamins and whatnot. In the vegan Shakeology, there's no added B12, and there is inside of the whey protein. And so someone asked the question, why don't we add it to the vegan formula?
Because we have so many requests from so many individuals, and they all, we keep having, why don't you do low carb shake, keto diet? There's a constant influx of requests to cater to a certain group. What we really wanted to do is provide a shake, so the vegan, with only whole food in it. So therefore, any kind of additional vitamins or supplements that you are taking according to your body, your blood testing, your diet, your philosophy of what to eat, what not to eat, that it could fit in any diet. There's also a lot of challenges, people that do not do well with certain vitamins, people that cannot process sulfur-based vitamins. There's a lot of challenges that are very individual, that therefore, if we didn't provide a shake that was clean that way, that it would make it very difficult for individuals to actually be able to process our shake. So we decided to separate the two in order to give an option where you don't have to worry. There's no added vitamins. So whatever system you're on, it will not interfere with it. And that was the purpose behind that.
I like
so if you need vitamin B12, which we all need at a different degree, then you get tested, you find out what you need, how much you need, and then you get a supplementation for that. Or we have the whey base that has a very good supplementation, very bioavailable, and you can go there as well.
Excellent. So I have a question. I'm going to throw one that's not on the list just from me that's on my mind right now. So let's say someone's just starting Shakeology. Maybe they're in their first couple weeks of using it. Or they have this plan to use it for, let's say 80-day obsession. They're going to use it for 80 days. Why is it going to be important for them? Why should they use it, or someone that hasn't used it, for more than the 80 days? Like, what is this going to do for them?
You mean past the 80 days?
Yeah. Why should somebody use Shakeology that hasn't used it much, or have just used it for a month and I tried it?
Well, are you talking about someone who tried it and decided he didn't like it? Because then, well, what can I say? Thank you for trying.
Yeah, no, just what you're.
So if they take it for the 80 days, but then why would they stop, or
why would they continue? If someone's like, why should I keep using it? I got my results.
Well, again, it depends. Are you there for certain results? and then everything that got you where you wanted to be, suddenly after you think if you don't continue what worked, that you will continue looking and feeling the way you look and feel now. There's a reason why moving and good nutrition led you to certain results. You continue because it just makes sense. It's, to me, it's like, why, if I've been eating a full meal with all my vegetables and my legumes and my grains and my nuts and my protein, I've been using that for 80 days. I feel fantastic. Why do I need to continue eating healthy? What's the point? What do you mean, what's the point? It is what got you there. You felt the difference, and it will be what will keep you healthy, strong, and empowered. That will keep your body able to sustain those results and to continue physical activity, hopefully. So the reason why you drink the shake, if you like it, if it worked for you, let's say for 80 days, it's because it did provide you with, calls it dense nutrition. So it assures that you have one place where you got the no-brainers, what we all need. That's the goal of the Shakeology, is the common denominator, the missing links that we all need and require to be healthy. We all need protein, good healthy fat, fiber, prebiotic, digestive enzymes. We all know now how important it is in order to enhance our body's ability to digest, process, extract, assimilate what we need from the food. And then we have our phytonutrients, our antioxidants, and on top of that, adaptive mushrooms and herbs to help you deal with stress, any kind of stress. So we notice that no matter what it is that you believe in, these elements, the human bodies need that. We seem to all agree on that. So we wanted to bring a place where at least if you don't do anything else, we're trying to guarantee you that at least you've got something there that brings these elements that are so fundamental and important to your health. Why continue? Why wouldn't you? So I'm more into you continue because it provides you one thing a day where you get yourself what you need. Which means that you get yourself what you need one time a day, I meant. So hopefully you don't stop there. Hopefully that's your guidelines. Hopefully you continue that with the food that you eat before and after the shake. But often we don't. So we know a lot of things here. It takes a while to process and be assimilated all the way through to our habits. Therefore, the habit of Shakeology hopefully will bring you into a habit of good eating overall, more often than not. Did I hit the point?
That was perfect. Yeah,
okay.
That was perfect. I love that. I've used it for 7 years and I never missed.
Wow.
So I absolutely love it. So I agree.
The more you feed yourself well, I think the more you need it. It's just like the water. The more you drink, the more you need water. When you eat well, it's very drastic when you don't. I know when I have the shake, I have it for every morning now. It's very challenging for me to have eggs and toast. It just doesn't feel complete. Mm-hmm. I have my shake, and then I usually have another breakfast 2 hours later. But I feel so nourished with my shake. And that's the difference of feeling well-fed, deeply nourished, that you can't replicate, you can't fake it. Once you feel the difference, you want more, I think.
I love that. We have all the 80-day obsession food that you would need here with 7 Beachbody coaches on the ski trip. And one forgot his Shakeology bag, but luckily he had six people here with reserves. So, it's the same thing. He has all the eggs, turkey bacon, avocado, everything he needs here to just eat, but he wanted that. His body craved that shake.
Absolutely.
So that's how I feel as well. So I'm going to ask you another question from this list that is might be a little bit individual, but we'll let you answer it.
Yeah, we can always go wild. I'll go on another rant.
There you go. As an autoimmune sufferer, I have found great relief with Shakeology, especially essentially eliminating inflammation of RA. However, I have a hard time, without word vomiting on people, explaining this to potential clients, fellow AI sufferers, as to which particular ingredients directly assist with these. Do you have any simple term explanation of what we could share with them?
Well, it's interesting. She has a story. She came from where she came from, and she is now where she is. That story alone if well expressed and really understood by the people she talks to, that alone should be quite powerful. There's nothing more powerful than stories. We've been telling stories for thousands of years. There's a reason why. There's the experience of it, which you cannot replicate intellectually. Once you've felt something, lived a drastic change, there's nothing more powerful than that, because you can sense the truth behind the words. And this is why we always say you don't need to be an expert. You need to be able to share your story, your experience. And that's why we want you to experience it before you even think of selling it. We want you to be true, that it's real for you. So I'm not sure why experience is not conveying that reality. The interesting thing behind the question also is that it's interesting to Google each ingredient. But the one thing about the shake, which seems to elude a lot of people, and I wish I understood, is that synergy. So yes, I could go and discuss every aspect of every 60 plus ingredients in the shake, but you could also Google it, which would be more powerful to you, because you may see outside sources that are agreeing with what we say. But it's the synergy. It's that balance I was talking to you about that creates this potency in the shake. It is the fact that we have those elements I've shared with you. It's simple. It's adaptogen mushrooms and herbs. It's phytonutrients in the deep greens. It's the antioxidants in the fruits and superfood, same with the super green, meaning that they have so much of antioxidants and phytonutrients that we call them superfruits and super greens. We have that. We made sure we had the macro ingredients, the fiber, the protein, the fat, and then we added the enzymes and the probiotic for your microbiome to be stronger, better able to deal with all these elements. So it's the synergy, the balance, all these missing elements in our diets now, meaning the potency, the quality, the bioavailability, which is missing from our diet. That is so crucial and makes the shake so potent. It's not a mystery. It's not deep science. It's earth. It's you. It's what your body requires, what your body has always required. The problem is our water are not the same. The air is not the same. The soil is not the same. There's thousands of chemicals floating in the air, on our soil, in the water. Stuff that most people don't even know. I just watched a documentary and I was like, oh my God, I don't want to know anymore. It's just challenging nowadays. It shouldn't be, but it is. So therefore, when you get something that is closer to how things used to be, that's actually nourishing your body does get results, and suddenly it's capable of performing better. That's all. That's all it is. So to me, it's simple, and somehow I still hear coaches having a really hard time to discuss it. And so is the person that asked that question, is she on this call, and does she feel that I've talked to her question?
I don't have the name written down, and we gathered these questions like a month ago, so I don't remember exactly. But I feel you addressed that question very well.
We'll find out.
Yeah, we'll find out. Yeah, because this will be recorded and put into the team to watch. So
can you send me a link as well on my messenger?
Absolutely, I will do that. So we have about 12 more minutes. I'm going to ask you one more quick question from here, and then you triggered a thought when you were talking about stories. So we'll have you end it with your story of Shakeology. A brief, however much time you have, but
I'll push the speed.
There you go. This is one that I've experienced. So I want to hear your advice on this. Ever since starting to take Shakeology, I'm fuller and I'm eating less. Is this normal? My nutrition plan says 2,400 calories, but I probably eat about 1,700 after taking Shakeology. I'm just not hungry. That's a big deal because I'm a big guy and I like to eat.
Oh, yeah. I saw that. Hold on one second. I want to read. I love that question. It makes so much sense. But I'd like to, I was talking to Mike, the head of R&D.
Yeah.
I was talking to Mike about something like that. We get a lot of that. And that's an email he's just sent me. He said, it's not surprising that you eat less calories when you drink Shakeology. It was designed to provide a source of hunger-satisfying, dense nutrition without excessive calories, which is kind of what I've been speaking about.
Yeah.
In fact, Shakeology, and that's what I had forgotten, and it's great that he reminded me. In fact, Shakeology was clinically tested against a calorie-matched drink control, and it was shown to significantly reduce the participants' hunger better. Plus, people ate less calories in the subsequent meal. If you want to increase the calories in your Shakeology, you can add healthy ingredients such as nut butters and fruits. We have a recipe. We're just sort of going on about it. But it makes sense, once again, that if you cellularly nourish your body, it just simply means give your cells what it needs in order to function well. If you really nourish it, you're not as hungry. It's when people start really cooking their vegetables, their deep greens, eating grains, a good amount of protein, good healthy fat, they're nourished. They eat less. It's because we are so used to eating empty food. Therefore, the body keeps on asking for food or sugar because it's lacking energy and it wants a quick fix because it just doesn't have it. And you're performing more, going to work, working out, all that stuff, baby, kids, work, shopping. It's performing and you're not feeding it dense nutrition. Therefore, it's going to make you crave sugar. Because it knows that it has to keep going, but it doesn't have what it needs. So it makes you crave sugar. Give me quick energy. I'm in need here. But when you really nourish your body, you are deeply fed, and therefore you're not as hungry and you don't tend to overeat. This is why sometimes it feels like you eat a lot more when you really eat these kind of foods, but calorie-wise, you're eating less. Mm-hmm. There's so many empty calories on the market. We also eat out much more than we used to hundreds of years ago. I used to wait in several restaurants for several years when I was going to school, and it's horrible what they consider healthy in a restaurant and what they do add and do to the food to make it tasty. That's not including that it's definitely not non-GMO. We don't know about organic, although we have more choices nowadays, but very expensive too. But if you eat out a lot, you really do not know what you're actually ingesting. And so our lifestyle are very different than way back then as well. But when you do these programs with us, that's the beauty of it. You cook your food, you know exactly what you're buying, and you see yourself eating more. You think you're eating more than you should, and yet the calorie is less, but it's dense. It actually nourishes your body. It gives it what it needs. We just need to give our bodies what it needs. Good food, water, and movement. That's all it wants.
Yeah, I love that. Before I ask this last question, I just have to share, I've been a little bit ignorant in my nutrition over the past 6 years. Like, I've drank it in my shake every day. Sometimes, like, if I'm craving something at night, I'll have a second one on occasion to help with my cravings. But, you know, I didn't really, like, with a busy life and 5 kids, like,
oh my God.
We'd buy takeout.
By the way, your wife really needs 5 kids. Can you understand how the body had to take care of her and take care of that little kid? And now she's managing 5 kids, and emotionally she's outpouring like mad. Oh my God, make sure she eats good. Yeah,
we're doing that. And we haven't been, but we started really following the nutrition plan, and like, it was a lot for me to eat for whatever bracket I need to be in. But once I started doing it for a couple weeks, just so much more. And like, on top of Shakeology, I was kind of like, I have my Shakeology, I'm just going to eat whatever I want and work out really hard. But since I switched that and really watched what I ate, bought everything on our own, cooked everything on our own, like, so much energy levels, you know, it's
incredible.
Yeah, we hit the hill for 10 hours today, and then we come back and we did a workout, and then I have energy to come here. So it's like, if you're out there listening to this call with us, making those simple choices of sticking to all natural. And
not only that, I don't know if you felt that. I'm curious to hear. And sorry I interrupted you.
Oh, you're good.
There's a little bit of a delay for me, so there's something about cooking the food. There really is something about being in the kitchen, cooking the food, being together, getting it prepared. In Asia, in certain area of the world, it was very important to know that the cook enjoyed cooking and liked the people it was cooking for, because they believe that the energy that emanates from the cook goes into the food. You may not believe that, but you may experience, and I'm curious if you have, that there is something that happens in the appreciation of the food when you take the time to prepare it, when you sit down and then eat it when you've prepared it, and you really cared about what you were cooking. Have you felt something like that?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
And especially doing it with the family too, the whole family
that's right.
together. And
And you're teaching your kids
yeah,
what it's like to take care of oneself.
yeah,
That's kind of what I like about the platform, is that it's at home. The dad doesn't go to work and then go somewhere else to work out, and then the food is brought into the house. They're watching your behavior. They learn so much from watching us. So they're watching you cook for yourself. Choose consciously what kind of food you're buying, moving your body at home, choosing the workout at home. They're watching you train. They're watching you drink the water. I think that's an important aspect of our next generation, which are obese and less healthy than our generation, which is the first time, as Carl mentioned, that happens. It's quite sad. And also be more empowered, being understanding where the health comes from and why health is eluding so many. And so the fact that we at BB have a platform that allows you to bring all that in your home, so that you, by what's the word, there's a word for that, but they're watching you do all that. And so they won't have to learn by force when they're 30, 40, or 50 when something bad happens, but it's going to become a natural thing for them to do. That's beautiful as well.
I love that. Well, I know we got to let you go in 5 minutes. So I was going to ask you like what your story is with Shakeology, why you're so passionate about it. But I listened to you speak, and it's like you gave us a lot of technical details on some of the not really on the ingredients, but some of the things that it does for us, and menopause and all these things. But I just as like, so everybody that's here listening, like I can just feel like if I had a one-on-one conversation with you and you were talking about Shakeology, like just your energy level and excitement talking about it would make me want to try it.
Thank you.
Tell that you're super passionate about it. So
Yeah,
in the last 5 minutes,
you bet.
what do you
I'm
want
going
to
to
share with
try.
us? And you have as much time as you want, by the way.
I have maybe 10 minutes, I'm
Okay.
being told. So, well, there's many aspects of that. So it started for me like when I was in my early 20s. So I don't know if people know my story. Hopefully I'm not redundant here. But I was not someone who ate fast food. I was raised with Italian. I moved to Europe when I was 16, and I ate, well. I ate a lot. I was always a big eater. I ate well, and I was very athletic. I was a dancer in when I was earlier, and then I started doing track and field work. In the United States, I trained track and field athletes. I was a one-on-one nutritionist, a coach, sports psychologist. So I consider myself, healthy, and it was really challenging to suddenly see that my health was going away. So basically in my early 20s, I started just going down and have zero answer from the medical community, not understanding what was going on with me. I got really sick and, was broke. So to cut it short, I got to a place where I couldn't move. I was just laying down and I could not move, crying, scared because I lost my clientele, can't go to school, can't pay my bills, got more and more in debt, and frightened out of my mind because of my survival, but also when you are going through something like that and nobody has answers for you, it's very challenging. So my well-being came from finally going outside of what was known to me to trying to figure out how do others deal with their health. This is when I started to investigate in Chinese medicine, Ayurvedic medicine, yoga, meditation, herbs, adaptogens, understanding my microbiome, which was not fancy or known or talked about way back then. And then I started going Koreatown, Chinatown, and people had the patience and the love to see that I was in deep trouble. So human kindness is always so crucial when you want to get well, which is what we provide. They understood that I needed help, so they gave me stuff. They sold it, roots and bark and you know, all sorts of things that I didn't know anything about, and I had to go home and cook it. So I became very intimate with plants, with herbs, you know, with sprouts, with bark, with mushrooms, with extracts that I had to sort of rudimentary do by myself because I didn't have the money to buy the real good stuff. But I got well, and I got well, and I got beyond well. So for me, this is very, very real. What is in a Shakeology, what I am talking about, is what brought me back to life. And also it changed the course of my life. The miracle of the human body, the connection between earth and what we are, what we're made of, you know, fire, air, water, space. There's so much space in us, and therefore that brings spirituality, emotion, psychological well-being, the osmosis, the balance of all of that, which I realized for me had a lot to do in how I was not well. I had to also understand this other aspect of myself, which is why it's very hard on calls for me to remain purely technical. When we ask me about menopause, I cannot just hit the technical. You'll go out there and buy books, and you'll have 10 different kind of books with 10 different kind of perfect diet that will save your life, and you can deal with diabetes and muscle making and all that stuff, and you can find tons of different kind of information, all promising to get you well. And it will, because there's millions of us. We're all different, and we all will have an affinity with different aspects of those way of eating and taking care of ourselves. But the place that we're the most alike is our emotional, psychological, and spiritual well-being, and how that affects our health. And so I was also helped with acupuncture, with sound, with meditation, with an ability to be more still and really get to know myself, where I was sabotaging my well-being, which has so much to do with the body's well-being. So all these elements, when you hear me talk, it's very real. It comes from my own experience of pure not being well and being frightened out of my mind and being broke. I borrowed, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars on my credit card, spent decades paying it back. I lived all that. I lived in a box. You know, I was famous, and I was still living in the box paying debts because it took so much out of me to take care of myself and heal. So even when I talk to people that speak to the Shake's price, I'm able to go without fear and accept that negation of the Shake but I'm able to talk to it, because even when I was broke, I continued buying herbs and extraction and mushrooms, and I got better and better at knowing what to buy. And I did continue to start buying organic, and I spent the money on that before anything. So I didn't have any cafe latte. I didn't go to the movies. I didn't have fancy workout outfits. I didn't spend money on my nails. I didn't go to spas. I didn't go on vacation. What I did is my health. Without my health, I'm nothing. And I knew that. Without my health, I can't pursue my passion. Without my health, I can't even ponder about life's meaning and God, or meeting another and love itself, which is so much more important than having to be terribly, you know, upset because I can't figure out what to eat. Like, I had to get my health down in order to proceed in life and figure out what living in peace and enjoy with what is. I had to be healthy. So I didn't buy all sorts of stuff, and I couldn't care less, and I still don't, because what the money that I spend now is I spend on the same thing that I spent it way back then, my health. That's what matters the most. So some people might really honestly not be able to afford the Shake, and that's okay. I'm okay with that. Because Carl and I decided to create a Shake that was the best that we could do, not the cheapest.
Yeah.
So you choose what you want to do in life. But I see a lot of people that do spend money on things that are really not that great. They'll buy 5 beers in a weekend. They'll spend a lot of money on wine. There's a lot of stuff that not only is it not necessary, but it's detrimental to your well-being. So there are choices to make in life to understand the hierarchy of what matters to you. And we do not have to all agree on that. That's okay as well. But this is where I come from. This is why my hierarchy is what it is. And my story, my experience, getting to the other side through these elements that I've created with Darren and the team, because Darren has his own story that's very similar, it became the shake. So it's very real for us. It's not intellectual. It's not based on looking at Google of what these plants do. We lived it and we still do. So it's a very real experience, and that's why we're passionate. That's why we're comfortable. That's why I'm okay with people saying why it doesn't make sense. It's okay. That's what I could create in the world. That's what I try to do the best that I can with our team, with Carl, with Darren, who's my perfect partner. That's what we created. That's what we love. That's our truth in this little scoop of powder. And it doesn't have to be yours, but it's ours. So I'm not apologetic about it. Does that make sense?
That makes sense, Isabelle. We want to just say thank you so much for sharing with us today.
You're welcome.
We're on board. We love your story. We love that you've not kept your gift and your passion to yourself, and that you've shared that with every one of us.
And we're asking you to do that.
Yes. We want everyone on this call to share about your story and what you're going through. And as you discover, because there's still moments and things for us to discover throughout the rest of our life to improve ourselves. So we're going to challenge each of you guys to do that, just like Isabelle's done for us today, and share it with the world and pay it forward to other people. Isabelle, I bought my first bag of Shakeology by selling an Xbox and a Wii. So
oh my God, that's so cool. That's perfect.
Yes, I understood what it was like.
And Xbox and the Wii is really not that good for you.
Yeah.
So like, even if you didn't buy the shake, it was a good move.
It was a good move for me.
You can go hide. You can go walk. You can kiss your wife.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, we're grateful for you, Isabelle. And sorry about
Thank you so much, guys. I'm grateful for you as well.
Okay. Have a great evening. Have a great weekend, everybody. And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.